Hello YouTube, Pinchy08 is finally back with some more model aircraft to unbox after a very long time. So we're not ready for model airports yet. In fact, these model planes by batches you're looking at are definitely overdue in the collection. We got several with JetBlue, we got 3 with Delta, and 1 with Frontier Airlines. So instead of unboxing these by airlines, we're going to be unboxing these by about 4 batches I have separate. Batch 1 will include 3 JetBlues and 1 Delta. Batch 2 will have 1 JetBlue and 2 Deltas. Batch 3 will be Aero Classics with 2 JetBlues and 1 Frontier. And the 4th batch will be just 2 JetBlues by NG models. This also includes both the JetBlue A320s made by Panda models in what's known as the Spotlight livery and the Peacock livery, and also from Altitude Panda models. I know this does look familiar, that they have the same registration on the sides of the box of November 599 Juliet Bravo, but if I give you a closer look atop, these are actually customized registration and, well, captions or names of the aircraft by their own registration, and they were customized by West Coast Diecast. I remember now. Sorry. Anyway, well, I have to admit, if you do place an order for these, since they are customized, I just want you to know that they're going to take a while to come in. And I do have to confess, when I got one of these, I had a bit of a QC issue, so I'm keeping it stored over there in that drawer as a spare parts, while this one was sent to be new without any QC issues. This one will be registered as November 588 Juliet Bravo, and the name on the aircraft would say Hopelessly Devoted to Blue. This one came with no QC issues at all, and it is registration November 562 Juliet Bravo, and would say the name is Blue, JetBlue. And yeah, even in reality, these are high-rise tail liveries at all. And on the bottom is where we got our first Delta A220-100. But we are going to have more Deltas to follow along with the next batches that I'm not going to spoil until we open them. So without further ado, we're going to get to batch 1 and prepare to open them, which includes the Phoenix and Altitude JetBlues and the 1 Delta A220. So we're going to go off camera and I'm going to get them opened for you so we can take a closer look at them. Before I unbox, I do want to say that at first when I got this box with the Phoenix JetBlue plane, it would almost look as comparable as an Altitude or Panda box. I mean, on the top, if you look, they almost look exactly the same, but the sides, you'll notice, are a little bit longer compared to the Altitude, if you'll notice. I mean, the Phoenix one looks almost identical in size, but I'm noticing it's a few tiny inches longer as well. But other than that, these are very enjoyable. And I will have a few interesting facts about some of these airplanes. Other than that, let's get these out of the box now. Alright, and here they are out of the boxes. Here's our Phoenix JetBlue A320 in what's known as the Spotlight livery. No longer just a tail fin, but an entire livery, where the whole plane is blue up front, and then you got some unique spotlight patterning towards the back. So we're going to look at this one first. Really quickly. So yeah, I gotta say, Phoenix really nailed everything. Now, if you're able to take a closer look, the registration or tail number of this aircraft, if I could just get this thing to focus. The tail number is November 554 Juliet Bravo. And the name of the aircraft over here, it would say underneath the tail section by the L1 door. I don't know if you could see it, but it's still kind of blared out. It would say Scare Blue. Let's see what happens if I zoom in. There we go. Kind of in like a Spanish pronunciation. It's pronounced Scarabblue. And a fact about this registration tail number is that this was JetBlue's first A320-200 CO to be painted in this beautiful livery. There will be another one to look at pretty soon by NG Models that also has some sharklets. It'll be very interesting because I do have an Aero Classics model of it in a classic livery as well. So it'll be cool to have that registration tail number twice. But for now, we start off the Spotlight livery with this one that was made by Phoenix. It's really cool. And I gotta say, I like how the fence tips on this one are orange like that, because if you were to look between the tail fin of Spotlight and now the livery, as you can see here, there are a little bit of some shades of orange around here, so it's kind of ideal to put a little bit of orange on the fence tips like that. And I don't think it says JetBlue on the outer parts of the IAE engines, but I was wondering if it looks like it did on the inside. Looks like it doesn't. No big deal. It's still very nice. I like the antenna detail and the aerials, and I like how they also made the SATCOM box gray like that, because in reality it is gray. Usually instead of white. I don't know why these manufacturers sometimes would paint them white like that. Alright, we're going to look at the two Altitude Customs. So it's hard to see, but these are definitely customs. Apparently by the feel of these were stripped of their original paint, I could tell, and then probably painted over with some kind of a matte clear coat. Probably so that way the custom name and the registration number would be able to stick better. I could feel that matte clear coat on the wings as well. And yeah, one of the first ones that came on to me unfortunately had a loose wing. I tried to super glue it back, but unfortunately I made a mess of it. If you are curious to see what it looks like, I'll probably bring that out as an encore, so you could get the idea. So let's look at this first one, which I believe this one would be the one replacing the one I made a mess with. Let's zoom in. Nope, this one's November 562 Juliet Bravo. So yeah, if you look very closely, you can see the outlines to the decal. Yeah, these guys did a pretty great job making it look realistic with the windows in place. Coming towards the front, here's our caption or name. The name is Blue, JetBlue. I'm sure if you ask West Coast Diecast, you could probably get other registration and captions like this for future JetBlue models. And yeah, these are also fence tips, because I don't think JetBlue is interested in putting high-rise tail fins or tail, or however you want to say it. Either way, I don't think they want to put them on sharklet A320s. So yeah, this high-rise livery is becoming a true staple with JetBlue as of now. And then as we look over here, same tail fin, different registration number. The one I had to replace, November 588 Juliet Bravo, with the name on the around the tail saying "Hopelessly Devoted to Blue." I believe that's JetBlue talk saying that they're hopeless to flying any other airlines except for JetBlue. I just hope that's not a bad saying for a JetBlue caption. Alright, last up on the batch over here to look at is my very first ever Delta Airbus A220-100. Now, I know the A220 100s or 300s with Delta are not seen in Atlanta just yet, because according to my friend Citrus Aviation, he says that the Delta A220s are not operating out of Atlanta because that is currently where the 717-200 Mad Dog aircraft are still operating out of. So I predict in the near future, when the 717s are retired, the A220s will take over. But however, this aircraft will do good for my Jacksonville Airport updates, because I may say this again when I do my first Jacksonville Airport update in a long time. That is that apparently the A220-100 is the most common aircraft that Delta uses on a mainline service from Jacksonville to Boston, and also I think Jacksonville to JFK, but sometimes they may alternate between A220-100s and 300s as well. But the A220-100 right now, for mainline service from Jax to Boston or JFK, this aircraft is the most commonly used. And this is the second release, apparently, of a Delta A220-100, because apparently the first and second release did not have a SATCOM box separately applied like you see here. It was just, well, painted in. Same thing with their first A220-300, but because now it has a SATCOM box representing absolute accuracy like that, that's why I decided to wait for this release. And I gotta say, this does look very excellent. And as you can see, because this is an A220-100, that's why you'll notice the fuselage length is a little bit shorter than the 300. But other than that, here you go. This is my first batch. So get ready. I'm going to move on to my second batch of aircraft very, very shortly. I hope you like the first batch so far. Alright, well, as we're ready to unbox the second batch, we have our, as you can see, our Phoenix Models JetBlue A320 in the Peacock livery. And we are looking at two Delta aircraft, including the recently brand new Delta 757-200 without winglets. And also, yes, you guessed it, now we have an Airbus A220-300 to go along with the Delta A220. I will say, I've definitely looked at these aircraft before when they first came in. No parts or QC issues. Nothing a problem at all. Everything is all in one piece, so let's get these planes out of the box. They are all good to go. Alright, and here is batch number 2 out of their boxes, with the JetBlue Peacock livery A320, the non-winglet Delta 757-200, and now a Delta A220-300s. We're going to get started with the JetBlue plane. So, yep, you're seeing it here. JetBlue has another brand new livery, special livery, I should say, about what's known as Peacock Streaming Service. Now, the registration tail number to this aircraft is November 706 Juliet Bravo. And there used to be another caption or name on this aircraft, which has been changed ever since being repainted into this beautiful livery. And as of now, the name of this aircraft would say, "This Peacock can fly." I like it very much. And yeah, as you can see, because this is also a Phoenix casting, very first of their casting, I like how even the SATCOM box is painted gray, because that's how it does look in reality. The antennas and aerials are definitely correct. I like how the L1 door that you board from is painted and highlighted yellow. We also got a little bit of yellow on the nose like that. Kind of makes it look like a duckbill, no pun intended. I like that very much, though. There's also some... I thought there was going to be yellow. There's also black instead on the fence tips. Weird. There's also black on the outside of the fence tips. Also yellow on the L2 door, as well as Oh, no yellow on the overwing exits. Weird. You can say there is something written over there right by the registration. I think it says exploring streaming partner of JetBlue. I think that's what it says. So yeah, before they were partnered with DirecTV, but I guess now they've moved on to Peacock for streaming services instead. I believe NG or some other manufacturer like JC Wings was supposed to come out, but I could feel that since Phoenix was going to come out with this first, I'd grab it. And for some reason, along with the spotlight livery, as you could see here, I thought they were going to release those together, but instead Phoenix would release this one along with that one separately. Sorry if I keep freezing. I just need time to remember those liveries and all, cuz it's been a long time since I've been around model aircraft as well. So, can you blame me for that? Alright, we're going to look at our two Deltas, starting with the 757. So, even though Gemini and NG models have come out with a Delta 757-200 like this without winglets, apparently, when I looked up their registration numbers, apparently those 757s have been long since been retired and probably sent to fly with other airlines, sadly. But this one's not retired. It's still flying to this very, very day. And it can also be used for flights from here in Jacksonville to Atlanta. And I gotta say, it's very, very unique. And I remember when looking at the position of the SATCOM box like this, how Aviation Blue Tech said it was kind of backwards when most 757-200 with Delta would have them right here up front like that. Apparently there are some Delta 757-200s with SATCOM boxes back here. But if you remember some 757-200s I got from NG models long ago, they actually have two SATCOM boxes, a smaller one up front and a larger one in the back. I'm guessing the reason why for two of them sometimes is because those are equipped, I think, with a first class cabin or so, used for transcontinental or international flights. But this is a domesticated 757-200, so you'll never see it fly out of the country at all. It'll just stay right here in the United States. But other than that, I do like the level of detail that Gemini Jets redid. Looks very, very excellent. And I don't know why, but when it comes to a 757-200, we usually board through this L2 door over here instead of this L1 door. But unless this is a domesticated 757-200, maybe there is a chance at some airports we could probably board through this door rather than that door as usual. But yeah, the level of details on this is very, very excellent. Can't wait to debut this at my Atlanta airport very, very soon. Alright, let's finish off with this batch by looking at the A220-300. So yeah, I will admit the A220-300 has some excellent details too, where there are two aerial antennas right over here, as well as a very good SATCOM box, and then another aerial antenna right there. So this is also the second release of the Delta A220-300 that they released. Looks absolutely excellent. And will definitely do good with my Jacksonville airport update, because I know seasonally, sometimes Delta A220-300s fly in and out of Boston. So what do you say I put the 100 in frame for a little bit so you can see the size difference between an A220-100 and a 300. So yeah, they're very state-of-the-art aircraft, aren't they? Who could forget how at first these were going to be designated as the Bombardier CS series until Airbus decided to purchase the rights of this aircraft and call them the A220s. They're just absolutely gorgeous, aren't they? They're going to look good in my Jacksonville Airport update. Not in Atlanta yet. Not until the 717s get ready to retire. But I think we're going to keep them flying for a little more longer until they're ready to retire. Alright, let's get to our third batch with the Aero Classics planes. Let's do this. Well, as Red River Aviation would say, here you go, boys. 3 Aero Classics in a row. We are looking at 2 JetBlues and a Frontier Airlines. Believe it or not, you could order these off of the Aero Classics website if you wanted. And apparently, by the time I saw these on the Aero Classics Facebook page, that these have been released on their retailer shop, I was able to jump on these right away. And I did the right thing, because when it comes to JetBlue, trust me, these babies sell out like hotcakes. And I have to admit, this is the coolest second Frontier aircraft I've ever gotten. But we're going to look at that last and start with the JetBlue models, because obviously I love JetBlue. So our first model to look at here is a model of a JetBlue tail fin that you probably don't see on A320s with JetBlue anymore. And that would be the barcode tail. I know it's strange that I decided to buy this, that since the barcode tail fins like that are disappearing off of A320s and are kept on the E190s, but I decided to get this as at least as to keep for a collector edition for all my favorite JetBlue liveries like that throughout the years. One was also produced by another company that was in collaboration with Aero Classics called Velocity Models, except that one had the tail number November 809 Juliet Bravo, which started off as the barcode livery, is now the special livery of JetBlue for good. Now let's zoom in, and I'm going to give you some stats about this aircraft that you're going to be seeing on the very, very last batch of aircraft to unbox. The registration tail number of this aircraft is November 821 Juliet Bravo, and the name of this aircraft would sound familiar because it was featured long ago on a Mosaic tail fin, and now it's on a whole new A320, and the name is none other than Blue Yorker. Yep. So yeah, believe it or not, if you might remember throughout the models, the name Blue Yorker was given to another entire aircraft that had the old Mosaic tail fin, but now that it's the Boston Red Sox livery, formerly Fenway Park 100, now called Blue Monster, ever since by then, I guess ever since they painted it to their Red Sox tail fin or livery, that's where they would decide to rename this aircraft Blue Yorker. And I believe this was also the first aircraft, especially in the barcode livery, to receive sharklets like that. And I gotta say, it looked very, very nice like this, until for some reason JetBlue decided to do away with the barcode tail fin like that, and then repaint them into other liveries like High Rise. But you're going to see what this aircraft looks like very, very soon on the final batch of 2 aircraft. Going to have to take a little bit of a break before we move on to our next aircraft to look at. Okay, I'm very sorry about that. We are now continuing on with our Aero Classics batch, so we are now transitioning from this now retired livery over to our next livery in JetBlue, which is none other than, as I'm panning in, the updated version of JetBlue's Vets in Blue livery. Because, yeah, you may not notice this, but a long time ago, JetBlue has definitely updated their Vets in Blue livery to making it look more like this. I wish I almost had the other one to show you, even though it's made by Gemini Jets, but I just wanted to get through this real fast and find out what you think of the new Vets in Blue livery. I kind of wish Gemini made that model, because they did a good job with the first look on the Vets in Blue livery. And Aero Classics also did do a the very first version of the Vets in Blue livery. but I sold it to make way for the Gemini model instead, because I felt Gemini would have done better. But so far for the updated version of Vets in Blue, so far it's only been done by Aero Classics. Along with that, I also will admit Aero Classics also did the very first Mint Leaves A321 as well. But I opted for the one made by NG, knowing that they would have done a lot better, because you know, in difference, when it comes to an Aero Classics molding, there are absolutely no antennas, no SATCOM boxes either. But when it comes to Gemini jets, or Panda models, or Phoenix, or NG, those definitely put more detail. But with Aero Classics, they're not as detailed as you think. So it's kind of, I'd say, the difference in between a scaled train's rivet counter and operator model, where rivet counter would have had more detail, while operator would have less detail, but you could add more detail, but there's no details that come with these Aero Classics planes. And I know I'm looking back at the barcode livery, but I'm just giving you some examples on the difference in details between Aero Classics and other manufacturer of 1-400 planes. We're going to look at these all together at the end for an encore. But yeah, here's where we're leaving off with the Vets in Blue livery in the updated version. So as you can see, ribbon has an updated look that goes like this, and then extends all the way down here to the underbelly of the plane, like this. And I gotta say, that's a very unique touch that JetBlue did. I've been waiting for quite a while for someone to come out with the model of this updated version, and they did. And I don't know if this was true on the very first version of Vets in Blue or not, seeing that the fence tip like this was painted yellow. Not sure if they did that on the first version or not. Eventually I might probably do a comparison between the old and new version of this livery. But other than that, the name and the tail fin has not changed. Registration number is the same, November 775, Juliet Bravo. JetBlue honoring our veterans. And yep, name of the aircraft, Vets in Blue. I'm glad it also still has JetBlue.com on the engines written. And on the inside too. Alright, well, for a short time, it's now time to shy away from JetBlue and then transition into Frontier Airlines. Now, apparently this would be my second Frontier aircraft in my Frontier collection, the first being a regular A320-200 CO in what's known as Griswold the Bear livery. And now we bring in my second one, which is a brand new A321neo. And I gotta say, this is a very, very cool livery that Frontier came out with, known as America's Green Airline, powered by Pratt & Whitney. Because, yeah, when it comes to an A320neo family aircraft, they're powered by what are known as the Pratt & Whitney 1000 GTF engines. GTF, of course, standing for Geared Turbofan. I'm going to take a look and see if you can take a look at the fan blades like that. Notice how they're a little bit more wavier compared to old engine fan blades like that. Because, yeah, when it comes to these awesome new engines, not only are they fuel efficient, but I like how they're also very, very quiet at takeoff, too. I don't know why the AvGeek part of some other people don't like how quiet they are. Don't get me wrong, the buzzsaw action on the IAE engines are really cool, too, but for the sake of some other people, rather they like to fly on an airplane or not, I really would hate for them to feel annoyed when it becomes even noisier up front like that. Now, as you can see, since Frontier is known to put animals on their tails like that, we do have another bald eagle. One of them that was made by Gemini Jets was known as Steve the Eagle, and that was a regular A321, but this time it's an A321neo. So looking here towards the back, registration number is November 605 Foxtrot Romeo. And apparently the name of the eagle would say, I think it's either saying Edmund or Edward the Bald Eagle. Yeah, it says Edwin the Bald Eagle. So yeah, what else can I say? Really, really cool aircraft. Someday I'll get some other Frontier A320neos, because this airline is still operating to this day out of Jacksonville. Rather it's regular A321ceos or A320, A321neos, or an A321-200ceo as well. Very beautiful aircraft. Alright, well, time to move to the last batch of aircraft. Here they are to look at. NG's first JetBlue A320ceo, and also our A320-200ceo in what's known as the balloons livery. Very, very interesting stuff to look at. So let's do this. Alright, and here we are, the last two JetBlue aircraft out of 4 batches of 1/400 scale model aircraft that I've been wanting to unbox and review. And like I usually say, before reviewing these, I always take them out of the box once to check for the QC issues. But even these have had no QC issues, so didn't have to super glue them back. They are all very, very good. And as you can see, I decided to put their boxes in the background because I gotta say, when it comes to NG, I'm really impressed at how they do the box art. With our A321-200ceo, we got the what's known as the balloons livery. And I like how they also put the registration tail number of the aircraft and the name of the aircraft, which on the A321 would say, knock knock, blues there. And now, here's what registration November 821 Juliet Bravo Blue Yorker looks like. No longer a barcode tail or a barcode livery, but now a spotlight livery. Take a look at this. It looks just as excellent as the Phoenix one does. But before we get to this, we're going to look at the A321. So here it is. And this is definitely the example of what the balloons livery looks like. We've seen an A321-200ceo in the mint leaves livery, and now in what's known as the balloons livery, which debuted on the first all-economy A321neo. Tailfin has been spreading to A321-200ceos, and now with that, I guess little by little, now they're painting them into this livery. And if you enjoyed the box art of what the box this aircraft came in, we're going to take a closer look at the aircraft itself. So yeah, I like how the sharklets are painted in a different hue of orange, which I'd say is more of a red orange, I'd say. Definitely not like what we saw on the Spotlight tail fin, but definitely more of a red orange for sure. Because there is definitely a little bit of outlining in red on the balloons pattern like this. I gotta say, this is absolutely beautiful. Way to go, you've outdone yourself, JetBlue. Not to worry for all you JetBlue lovers, you'll still have time to enjoy regular JetBlue tail fins as well. Now here we are making our way to the front, where, yep, name on the aircraft would say knock knock, blues there. Very, very unique pun as well. And I don't know how a little bit of a glue blob got here. Or maybe that's just a little bit of a greasy fingerprint that I may have made when I first looked at this. Trying to see if I could wipe it off, make it look better. I don't know what to say. A model is a model. I just love looking at this thing up close. And then here's another look at the wing with the sharklet. Not in a regular orange, but definitely a red orange. Almost matching the red nav light. Usually the red nav light is on the left wing, and then you have a green nav light on the right side. Beautiful detailed nav light. Beautiful detail for the beacon light. Satcom box, I think, is now gray. This is the first NG to have a gray Satcom box on a JetBlue model. Details are very good on the aerial antennas. And here's our registration, November 957 Juliet Bravo. Fact and stat, this was the first of the JetBlue A321-200 COs to receive this amazing livery. So there you have it. Now next up to look at is A320-200 CO, November 821 Juliet Bravo. No longer in the barcode livery, but in the spotlight livery. And I gotta say, for this that has the sharklets on it instead of the fence tip, this looks just as dashing and just as excellent. Especially when I zoom in on it like that. I'd say this is more of a tangerine orange. Not sure how I would make out my hues of color like that. I only see what I see. And then here's the front where it says Blue Yorker. So yep, out with the old, in with the new. Or as JetBlue would say, out with the old, in with the blue. Now before we make our finale, what do you say I make our, comparison with the Phoenix molding? So yeah, I like, as you can see when looking top-down view, how you can see there's a spot where the white comes together and makes sort of a blue bubble from the actual fuselage of the aircraft. Except as you can see looking very closely, Phoenix one seems to have a little bit of a lighter blue, while NG has a little bit more of a darker blue. But yep, other than that, there you have it. Two JetBlue A320-200 COs in the all-new Spotlight livery, with a fence tip and with a sharklet. Different registrations, same livery. This one was the first of this livery, and this one, second or third, doesn't matter how many numbers they have. But they're out there and in service. Alright, let's make our grand finale. Right, well, here you have it. So as I'm making a little bit of a count, looks like I got about 3 deltas, counting my JetBlues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 JetBlue models and 1 Frontier Airlines models. So hope you like how I made my little count. We got 8 JetBlue models, 3 Delta models, and 1 Frontier model. These are very, very excellent models. I like them very, very much. The JetBlue models will do justice with me remodeling JetBlue Terminal 5 at JFK. The 757 with Delta will look good at my Atlanta airport updates, while the A220s will look good at my Jacksonville airport updates. Because they're not flying out of Atlanta just yet. That day will come soon. But like I said, with the A220-100 and 300 with Delta, common aircraft to see as a mainline aircraft flying from here in Jacksonville to either Boston or New York JFK. Alright, well I did promise this kind of with a grand finale. This is our original customized Spotlight Tailfin JetBlue A320 that I got customized from West Coast Diecast, hopelessly devoted to blue. And yeah, originally this one had a little bit of a loose wing and I wanted to fix it, but apparently, like I said, a little too much glue came all over my fingers, as well as getting it all over the wing and all over parts of the model, giving it a little bit of a ruin. But as part of this finale, I'm going to pull it out of the box and find out what you guys think. But I think I'm going to keep this for a source of spare parts instead of just throwing it out. So let's get to it. Alright, well here it is. So far looking at it on the side, now on the top is where everything looks okay. But when I get to flipping this plane over, here's where the problem is. So yeah, you see, look at this. I got glue blobs everywhere on the bottom back here. A little bit towards one of the bottom areas. And look at this, a little bit of blue paint washing off like that. We also got a little bit of some blue paint or black paint washing off of the L2 door like that. I believe it was this wing that had the QC issue. No, wait, here's the wing that had the QC issue right here. So yeah, you see how you see a little bit of blue paint coming on that wing? Yeah, this was the wing that was loose. And if you looked closely over here, look at this. We got a little bit of smudges right here on the overwing exit patterns like that. Even though the first arrows are supposed to look big like that, I really don't like how it came out like that. I don't know what to say though. All I can say is that even though I did what I had to do by just gluing it like that, I don't know how, but a little too much glue came out, got all over my fingers, got all over the model like that, and now I've smudged it up and made it a mess like that. I don't know what to say. What more can I say? It made it here with the other one until me and Altitude and West Coast, well, did what we had to do. So what do you think? Is this one trash? Should I keep it for spare parts, or should I just have it as an extra for my JFK airport update? I'd respect it if some of you say it's no big deal. It's starting to look like no big deal anymore, but still, what else can I say? I want my models in any scale to look perfect. What else can I say? So, time for another grand finale part 2. So this would have made 9 JetBlues, 1 Frontier, and 3 Deltas. Hope to get a little bit more Deltas to expand for my Atlanta airport update, including a 767-400. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, Cameron at Pinch08 is ready to sign and pinch out. And in the words of Jeb Brooks, between now and the next time, we will see you in the sky. Take care.